Hello everyone, my name is Satvinder Singh and I warmly welcome you and thank you all for joining me. Through this particular session, we're going to be starting off our Java Standard Edition journey, right? So without any further delay, let us commence our session. Firstly, I'll be discussing over here what is Java. Java is basically a platform. It's a technology as well, and it's a programming language as well. So if someone asks you like what is Java? You will say platform, technology, and programming. Means Java is a platform, it's a technology, and it's a programming language as well. Next here, let me define Java. Java is high level object oriented general purpose compiled, interpreted, strictly typed, platform independent, programming language, which was developed by Mr. James Gosling and his team at Sun Microsystems. Basically, the other main persons except Mr. James Gosling, which were involved, were Patrick Norton, Patrick Norton, and Mike Sheridan. So these were the two persons which were involved, except Mr. James Gosling. Means mainly these three were involved. James Gosling led that particular project. Okay, and he's also known as the father of Java as well. And they initiated this project in the early 1990s at Sun Microsystems. So, in this way, you can say that a team of Sun engineers developed Java at Sun Microsystems. The first official released JDK came into the market on 23rd Jan 1996. So this was for the very first time like Java was introduced to the public. The very first version of JDK was released on 23rd Jan 1996. Now let me explain about these sort of words which I have written over here, like how Java is high level, how it is object oriented, journal purpose, compiled, interpreted, strictly typed, platform independent, right? And programming language as well, right? So I'll not be discussing all of these words which I have underlined over here in the very beginning itself. Like, I don't want to complicate the things in the beginning itself. Whenever the appropriate time would come, I'll be discussing about each and every underlined word, right, in the session's head. But for the time being, let us discuss the part which can be covered theoretically. Later on, we would be practically understanding this whole definition, right? Okay. Now, firstly, let me explain how Java is high level. Java is high level because it is more closer to the humans. It is more closer to the humans, and it's quite far away from the hardware, far away from the hardware, or you can say it's far away from the machines. That is why Java is considered as a high leveled programming language. It is easily understandable by the humans. It's not easily understandable by the machines, right? The level of programming language is high from the hardware or the machine, right? That is why it's considered as the high level programming language. Okay, next, now let me discuss how Java is general purpose. Before discussing Java as a general purpose programming language, let me discuss what is meant by domain specific programming languages. So domain specific programming languages or the domain specific languages are the languages whose area of working or whose usability area is fixed, right? For example, you might have heard about SQL. It's a query language which is used in order to deal with the computational tasks related to the databases, and it is preferred over here itself. It's not used at any other place. So the area, the working area of this particular language, SQL, is fixed. It is bound up to this database itself. However, this is not true in case of Java. Java is general purpose, meaning that Java can be used at certain number of fields. Java can be used to develop application softwares. Java can be used to develop system softwares, right? And there could be the certain other use cases of Java which we would be discussing ahead. So this is the reason we can say why Java is considered as general purpose, because it is generic. Its use case is general, right? Generally, we can use it at certain number of fields. It's not bound to any one domain. Next, now we will discuss how Java is object oriented. Although I'll be giving just a short introduction to Java being object oriented, I'll be discussing it in great detail in the session in the upcoming sessions, right? Here, let me explain how Java is object oriented. Just a quick overview, right? See, Java support object oriented programming, right? And this object oriented programming comprises of certain concepts into it, which we would be learning ahead, right? Which we would be discussing ahead in our sessions. And through these particular, with the help of these particular concepts, we can relate the things with real world, and without cramming the things, by just relating it with the real world, we would be programming, right? We would be doing coding, which definitely would make our task easier, right? It's always easy for us to learn the things by relating them with the real world, with the real world applications or with the real world examples. So Java supports that particular thing. That is why we would consider Java as an object oriented programming language as well, right? So we have discussed how Java is high level, how it is object oriented, and how it is general purpose. Compiled and interpreted, this we would be discussing in the sessions ahead, but not in this particular session, right? As earlier I have mentioned, like, I don't want to complicate the things. I'll be explaining this practically. Okay, although Java being object oriented, also I'll be explaining practically, but for the time being, the information which I have provided you related to Java being high level, object oriented, and general purpose is more than sufficient. Okay, for the time being. Okay, now let me discuss how Java is strictly typed programming language over here. How Java is strictly typed programming language. In certain programming languages, it's not mandatory to explicitly define the type of value, the type of expression, or the type of variable. The example of such a programming language is Python, right? In Python, we do not explicitly require to mention the type of the variable. For example, if we are writing the Python code and we have written this particular instruction, so the interpreter of the Python during the runtime, right, dynamically, that particular interpreter would automatically consider the type of this particular literal, right, which is nothing but of int. Basically, this is an object of class int in Python, right? Let's not go into that much of depth because our major concern over here is not Python. We are discussing about Java. So I was discussing, like, there are certain programming languages where there is no need to mention any type before this variable, right? See here, I haven't mentioned anything. The interpreter at runtime would automatically detect that the literal which is assigned to it is of int type. However, this is not true in case of Java, right? In Java, explicitly you have to write down the type for value, the type for the variable, the type for the expression, or you can say the type for the method, right? Explicitly you have to define. For example, here I have written this int x is equals to 5. So here we are explicitly writing down the type for this particular variable or this particular literal which is getting assigned over here to this particular variable. So in this way, we can say that Java is strictly typed programming language. Another another similar terminology we do have is that Java is also a type safe programming language. How Java is a type-safe programming language? Let me discuss it over here. Maybe for the time being, you might be getting confused that what I have written this over here. For the time being, consume it as it is I have explained. Okay, try to consume it. Later on in the sessions, I'll be explaining in great detail like what exactly this is. Okay, let me explain now how Java is a type-safe programming language. Suppose, let me take the same example over here. Int x is equal to 5. So here I have assigned this int literal to this particular variable x, and I have mentioned the type for it as int. So now whenever I would be assigning any of the variable to this particular x, that should be of int type only. Int type only. That should be the integer of the particular range itself. Then only we would be able to assign it over here. Otherwise, we would be getting error. For example, suppose int x is equals to I have written say Satvinder Singh, right? The type for this particular literal is not int, it is something else, right? We will be discussing what exactly type for this particular is in the sessions ahead, not over here. Okay, I don't want to complicate the things again. I'm repeating. So it was this particular x, it was bound to receive int type literals itself. However, we are assigning this string literal over here, right? So this would definitely give error. And in this way, we can say Java is type-safe programming language. No matter it's the variable, or you may say it's the parameter, or the expression, or the return type of the function or of the method, right? They must adhere to their original type. That's what type-safe programming language means. And Java is a type-safe programming language. So I have explained that how Java is a strictly typed programming language. Let me come to the original definition which I have given. Java is a high-level object-oriented general-purpose compiled, interpreted, strictly typed, platform-independent programming language. This platform-independent I'll be discussing ahead in great detail. It's a big story, right? And it's one of the feature which has popularized Java a lot over the past years, right? Now let me discuss like how Java is a programming language. Before discussing this, how Java is a programming language, I'll be discussing about few of the basics related to the computer. Okay, so firstly, let me discuss like why there is a need of computers in this modern era. Why there is the need of computers in this modern era. So rapidly, you would say, or straightly, you would say that we require computers in this modern era because we just want to perform the complex task quite easily. We want to perform the tasks quite efficiently, right? In a more appropriate manner, right? In a more appropriate manner, right? We want to do the tasks quickly, right? without wasting a lot of time. And there could be certain other reasons which you would uh, describe, like in order to tell like why there is the need of computers, right? Computers basically, they turn out the complex questions in by providing simple answers to them, right? They could efficiently solve the problem, right, in a more appropriate manner, right, a more uh, in the more fine way, right? We can get the solution by the help of the computers, right? And that too we can get so quickly. Maybe if we talk in context to human, maybe human is taking around say 1 minute to solve a particular problem, right? And in context, I mean in contrast to this, maybe computer could solve that within fraction of seconds, and we can rely upon that particular solution, right, a lot as compared to the solution provided by the human, right? So in this way we can say like computer has become quite necessary in our day-to-day life in this modern era, or you can say in this uh, world of computers, right? Now let me discuss what exactly a computer is. What is a computer? Computer is basically an electronic device which takes some data as an input, and it generates the output correspondingly. Okay, corresponding to what? Corresponding to the instructions which we will provide to the computer. So it means we basically want computer to perform a certain computational task for us. And in order to let the computer perform that, we have to give instructions to the computer, or in the layman, I would say we have to communicate with the computer, right? And we would be communicating that with the help of certain programming languages, right? And Java is one of them. So that's what a computer is. A computer is basically an electronic device which takes data as an input and generates the corresponding output depending upon the instruction we provided to it, right? Now I would discuss like what exactly language is, because see, as I'm communicating with you guys, I'm using a certain language. This is English language which I'm using over here, right? Similarly, if we just want to interact with the computer, there also we require certain languages which we would be discussing over here. Like, let me first discuss what is a language. A language is that by means of which, we can communicate, or we can convey our message, right, to each other, right? And even we can communicate with the machines as well, with the computers as well, right? That's what a language is. A language could be both spoken and written, or maybe it could be a spoken language itself. It could be a gesture language, it could be the sign language, and it could be a programming language as well, right? So that's what a language is. And language is that by means of which we can communicate with each other, or we can communicate with the computer, right? So I'm writing it over here. A language is that by means of which we can communicate with each other and with the computer systems. There could be certain types of language, as I have discussed, like language could be a spoken language itself, right? And it could be both spoken and written language, right? It could be sign or gesture language, right? And it could be a programming language. Okay. One thing I would like to mention over here, as I have written, that language is that by means of which we can communicate with each other and with the computer systems. Usually, what people think is that they do consider only laptops or you know those desktops as computer, right? They do consider only them as a computer. No, my friend, they are not only the computers. There are lot of forms of computers, as like a mobile phone could be another form of a computer itself, right? And there could be like tab is another form of computer, right? And there could be certain other electronic devices which may act as a computer system, right? Although the form of them would be different, right? Don't get confused into it, okay? See, we can never call only laptops as a computer, right? There are certain other forms of computer available as well, right? So that's what I just wanted to discuss over here. Now, here let me discuss what is the difference between a programming language and the natural language which we speak, like English, Punjabi, right? So the difference between natural language and programming language. It's as simple as that. Like in the case of the normal speaking languages or the natural languages like English and Punjabi, uh, we may even skip the grammar, right? We may even skip the grammar. Without making the use of grammar, we can communicate with each other and we can convey our message to each other. But this is not true in the case of the programming languages. In the programming languages, strictly you have to follow a grammar in order to communicate your message to the computer. So that's the difference between the programming language and the natural speaking languages like English and Punjabi, right? Next, now let me discuss about what exactly programming languages are. What are programming languages? I'll I'll be explaining it in the simple terms. Like in the layman, I would say these are those sort of languages by the help of which we can write down the programs, right? In order to communicate with the computer system. The languages which facilitates us in order to communicate with the computer systems, with the hardware of the computer, or maybe with the software of the computer. Those languages are called programming languages, and Java is one of them. Java is a programming language because with the help of Java, we write programs that do interact with the software or the hardware component of the computers, right? No matter it is interacting directly or indirectly, but it interacts, right? And what basically a program is, let me discuss over here now, because I have discussed like programming languages are those with the help of which we can, you know, uh, communicate with the computer system. But I should also explain like what exactly a program is, right? So all to first, let me discuss this in general. Suppose, uh, like in general, in our day-to-day lives, we do make certain programs. Suppose you have your friend's marriage, friend's wedding to attend, right? And suppose it's tomorrow, right? But you are planning for that particular wedding. You are planning to attend that particular wedding, maybe uh, from today itself, right? So you would be properly thinking in your mind about a plan, right? You are preparing a plan in order to execute that particular program of attending a wedding, right? So similarly, in the case of programming languages also, we do the same, right? We often make the plan to be executed using any of the program, and that plan, when we think, we refer that as the logic, right? So we need to implement that particular logic, right? Similar, in our daily life, we need to implement that particular plan. For implementing that particular plan, we would be, like, what exactly the plan is. Maybe it's, you would get up early in the morning tomorrow, right? And then you would take bath, and then you would dress up yourself, and by opting any of the means of transport, you would go to that particular marriage palace, and you would attend your friend's wedding. So that's how you executed your program, of attending the wedding of your friend, right? Like, or you can say, that's how you executed your plan. Similarly, if we just want to execute our plan of, our logics of, uh, to interact with the computer system, if you just want to execute your logics which you thought, you need a certain thing, and those certain things are nothing but programs itself. As you have followed certain steps in order to accomplish your task of attending a wedding. Similarly, you have to give certain set of instructions to the computer, right? And collection of those set of instruction is nothing but program itself, right? So what basically a program is? Program is a certain set of instructions given to the computer in order to let computer perform the computational tasks for you, right? So we require a certain programming language which could facilitate us in writing those programs. So we have this Java. Java is one of the programming language by the help of which we can say we are able to write down the program so that we can interact with the software or the hardware of the computers. So in this way, we can also conclude like how Java, or why Java is called as the programming language. I'll be discussing about the certain sort of basics ahead in our sessions as well, right? For the time being, these certain were required, so I explained these over here. Others I'll be explaining in the sessions ahead. Okay, so that's all about this particular session. Here I have discussed what exactly Java is, right? And the definition part of the Java I uh, explained, and certain basics related to computer I have explained. Before signing off, let me clear your doubt. Like, what exactly is required to learn Java, or what are the prerequisites to learn Java? So I would say, if you are learning from me, the only prerequisites which you require are basic knowledge of English language. As I have explained that Java is a bit, you can say it's more or less English plus mathematics type language only, right? So you require a basic understanding of the English as a language, along with 6th, 7th standard mathematics, right? And you also require a little bit uh, usability of the internet. I mean, you should be aware about the usability of the internet, like how internet is going to help you out throughout this particular journey. And last but not the least, you require a little bit of common sense as well. So these are the only prerequisite which you require to continue your Java learning journey from me, or more specifically, I would say the Java Standard Edition learning journey from me. So thank you. See you in some other session, right? See you in the next one.